The Galactic Academy stood tall and proud, its shimmering towers reaching for the stars. It was the most famous school in the whole universe. Aliens from all over came here to learn. The academy was so big that some planets could fit inside it. On this special day, the academy buzzed with excitement. A new student was coming. But this wasn't just any student. It was a human, the first ever to join the academy. Xylop, a blob-like alien with 10 eyes, wiggled nervously. "I heard humans are dangerous," he whispered to his friend Zora, who looked like a talking tree. Zora's leaves shook. "Yeah, I heard they come from a death world." "What's it called? Dirt?" "No, Earth." The alien students gathered in the main hall. They came in all shapes and sizes. Some floated, some crawled, and some just appeared and disappeared. They all waited to see the human. Suddenly, the doors opened. In walked a young woman with brown hair and eyes. She looked around curiously, a smile on her face. This was Sarah, the human everyone was talking about. The alien students gasped. Some even hid behind others. They expected a monster, but Sarah looked normal. Professor Zixnax, the head teacher who looked like a giant octopus, moved forward. "Welcome, Sarah of Earth, to the Galactic Academy," he said in a bubbly voice. Sarah bowed slightly. "Thank you, Professor. I'm honored to be here." Whispers filled the room. The human spoke, and she was polite. "Students," Professor Zixnax announced, "Sarah comes from a planet classified as a death world. Earth has conditions that many of us would find impossible to survive." The aliens looked at Sarah with new interest. How could something so small survive on a death world? Sarah felt all the eyes on her. She stood tall and smiled. "I'm excited to learn with all of you," she said. "I hope we can become friends." Xylop, feeling brave, oozed forward. "Is it true that your world has big monsters that eat meat?" he asked, his 10 eyes blinking rapidly. Sarah laughed. "Well, we have animals called lions and tigers. They're big cats that eat meat, but they're not monsters. They're beautiful creatures." The aliens looked confused. Beautiful meat eaters. It didn't make sense. Zara stepped up next. "I heard your world has poison falling from the sky. How do you survive that?" Sarah looked puzzled for a moment, then understood. "Oh, you mean rain? It's just water. It helps our plants grow." The alien students were shocked. Water falling from the sky. And it helped things grow instead of killing them. Earth sounded crazier by the minute. Professor Zixnax waved his tentacles for quiet. "As you can see, we have much to learn from each other. Sarah will join the third-year class. Please make her feel welcome." As Sarah walked to her new classmates, the aliens moved aside. They were still scared, but also curious. This human was nothing like they expected. In the crowd, a small alien that looked like a floating bubble spoke up. "Is it true humans eat 3 times a day? How do you have time for anything else?" Sarah grinned. "We manage. I'll tell you all about it later." The alien students couldn't believe it. 3 meals every day. And the human was still standing. Maybe Deathworlders were tougher than they thought. As the day went on, Sarah answered more questions. The aliens learned that humans slept for hours at a time, that they couldn't breathe underwater, and that they only had 2 eyes. Each fact seemed crazier than the last. By the end of the day, the alien students were fascinated. They still thought Sarah was strange, but they also thought she was brave. Living on Earth sounded hard, yet humans did it every day. As Sarah went to her new room that night, she felt happy. It had been a long day full of strange sights and new friends. She knew that studying at the Galactic Academy would be hard, but she was ready for the challenge. Little did Sarah know, the real challenges were just beginning. Soon, she would face a homework assignment that would shock the entire academy and change how aliens saw humans forever. The next day, Sarah walked into her first class at the Galactic Academy. The room was huge, with seats for all kinds of aliens. Some seats floated in the air, while others were pools of goo. Sarah found a normal chair and sat down. Professor Sixnax floated to the front of the class, his tentacles waving. "Good morning, students," he burbled. "Today we have a special announcement." The alien students perked up. Special announcements were always exciting. "We're starting a new project," the professor continued. "Each of you will complete a homework assignment based on your home planet's environment." Excited whispers filled the room. The aliens loved talking about their home worlds. "This project will help us understand different life forms better," Professor Sixnax explained. "You'll show us what daily life is like on your planet." Sarah listened carefully. She wondered what Earth activity she would have to show. The professor started handing out assignments. He gave a floating tablet to each student. Psylop, the blob alien, got his tablet first. "Ooh, I have to show how we breathe methane," he said happily. Zara, the tree-like alien, looked at her tablet. "I need to demonstrate photosynthesis," she said, her leaves rustling with excitement. Other aliens got their assignments too. One had to show how they survived in extreme cold. Another had to explain how they lived without gravity. Finally, Professor Sixnax floated over to Sarah. He handed her a tablet with a serious look. "Now, Sarah," he said, "your assignment might be a bit challenging." Sarah took the tablet, curious. She read it and tried not to laugh. Her assignment was to show a typical Earth day, including dangerous activities like walking outside, eating 3 meals, and sleeping. The alien students nearby gasped when they heard Sarah's assignment. They thought it sounded impossible and scary. Walking outside, without protection. Dylop asked, his eyes wide with fear. 3 meals in one day. Won't you explode? Zara wondered, her branches shaking. Sarah smiled. "It's not as dangerous as it sounds," she tried to explain. "These are normal things for humans." But the aliens didn't understand. To them, Earth sounded like the scariest place in the galaxy. Professor Sixnax waved his tentacles for quiet. "Remember, students, the point of this assignment is to learn. Sarah's project will teach us about human endurance." The alien students nodded, but they still looked worried for Sarah. As the class ended, everyone talked about their assignments. The aliens were excited to show off their special abilities, but they were most curious about Sarah's project. "How will you survive?" One alien asked Sarah. "What if you get hurt?" Another worried. Sarah assured them she would be fine, but they didn't believe her. To them, she was attempting the impossible. Later, in the academy cafeteria, Sarah sat with Psylop and Zora. They watched in amazement as she ate her lunch. "Is this one of your 3 daily meals?" Psylop asked, his blob body jiggling with curiosity. Sarah nodded. "Yep, this is lunch," she said, taking a bite of her sandwich. Zora's leaves twitched. "And you do this every day, without getting sick?" "Every day," Sarah confirmed. "It's normal for humans." The aliens shook their heads in disbelief. They couldn't imagine eating so often. As Sarah finished her lunch, more aliens gathered around. They all wanted to see the dangerous human activity of eating. "Will you show us more Earth things?" a small, glowing alien asked. Sarah smiled. "Sure. How about I show you some Earth games later?" The aliens agreed excitedly, though they were a bit scared too. They wondered what kind of crazy games humans played. As Sarah left the cafeteria, she felt happy. The aliens were starting to see her as interesting, not just scary. She knew her homework project would surprise them even more. Little did the aliens know, Sarah's simple Earth activities would soon turn their understanding of the universe upside down. The real shock was yet to come. Sarah sat in her room at the Galactic Academy, thinking about her homework. She had to show a typical Earth day, but how could she do that in space? She looked around her room, which was designed to be comfortable for many alien species. It had gravity controls, air filters, and even a small garden. "I've got it," Sarah said to herself. She would turn her room into a little piece of Earth. First, Sarah set the gravity to Earth normal. It felt good to have regular gravity again. Then, she adjusted the air to match Earth's. The room felt more like home already. Sarah started to plan her day. She would wake up, eat breakfast, go for a walk, work on some studies, have lunch, play a game, eat dinner, and then sleep. It seemed so simple to her, but she knew the aliens would find it fascinating. The next morning, Sarah woke up to her alarm. She stretched and yawned, then got out of bed. Outside her room, alien students had gathered. They watched through a special window, amazed to see the human sleep for so long. "She's moving," Tylop exclaimed, his blob body quivering with excitement. Sarah waved at her audience, then went to brush her teeth. The aliens watched in wonder as she used a toothbrush. "Is that some kind of weapon?" one alien whispered. "No, I think it's for cleaning," another replied, sounding unsure. Next, Sarah made breakfast. She had brought some Earth food with her, so she made toast and eggs. The smell filled the room, and the aliens outside looked curious. As Sarah ate, Zara tapped on the window with a branch. "Aren't you afraid?" she asked. "That's your second meal in just one day cycle." Sarah laughed and shook her head. She gave a thumbs up to show she was fine. After breakfast, it was time for Sarah's walk. She had set up a small treadmill in her room. To the aliens, it looked like a strange machine. When Sarah started walking on the treadmill, the aliens gasped. They couldn't believe she was moving so much after eating. "Look at her go," Tylop said, his eyes wide with amazement. "Humans must be so strong." Sarah walked for 30 minutes, then did some stretches. The aliens watched every move, taking notes and whispering to each other. For lunch, Sarah made a sandwich. The aliens were shocked to see her eat again so soon. They couldn't understand how she didn't get sick. In the afternoon, Sarah decided to show the aliens an Earth game. She took out a deck of cards and started to build a house of cards. The aliens watched, fascinated by the delicate balance and patience needed. "What strange structures humans build," one alien commented. "Is this how they make their homes?" Sarah heard this and laughed, shaking her head. She held up a sign she had made, "Just for fun." The aliens looked confused. They didn't understand doing something just for fun that didn't help with survival. As evening came, Sarah prepared for her final dangerous activity, sleep. She changed into pajamas and brushed her teeth again. The aliens watched, still amazed by the toothbrush. Sarah got into bed and turned off the lights. The aliens outside her room waited, wondering what would happen next. "Is she dying?" one alien asked nervously after a few minutes of Sarah lying still. "No, humans do this every day," another explained. "They become unconscious for hours." The aliens couldn't believe it. Becoming unconscious every day seemed so risky to them. Yet Sarah did it without fear. As Sarah slept peacefully, the alien students talked among themselves. They had seen so many strange things today. Humans were even more incredible than they had thought. Little did they know, Sarah's simple Earth activities were about to change their view of the universe forever. The next day, when she would present her project to the class, would bring the biggest surprise of all. The next day, the alien students couldn't stop talking about Sarah's homework. They had watched her do dangerous Earth activities, and now they were very curious. Many of them decided to try some of these activities themselves. In the Academy's main hall, Tylop the blob alien gathered his friends. "I'm going to try eating like a human," he announced bravely. His friends gasped. "But Tylop," one said, "you absorb nutrients through your skin once a month. Eating like a human could be dangerous." Tylop wiggled confidently. "Humans do it 3 times a day. How hard can it be?" He had made something that looked like a sandwich, using parts from the alien cafeteria. Tylop took a deep breath and tried to push the food into his body, but he had no mouth. The sandwich just stuck to his gooey surface. "Is it working?" he asked, his voice muffled by the sandwich on his face. His friends tried not to laugh. Meanwhile, in another part of the academy, Zara, the tree-like alien, was trying something different. Humans sleep for hours, she told her classmates. I'm going to try it. Zora's friends looked worried. But you get energy from light, one said. You don't need sleep. Humans say it's relaxing, Zara replied. She lay down on the ground and closed her eyes. Her friends watched, confused. After a few minutes, Zara opened her eyes. Did it work? Am I refreshed now? Her friends shrugged. They had no idea how sleep was supposed to work. In the gym area, a group of floating bubble aliens were trying to use Sarah's treadmill. They didn't understand why anyone would want to move in one place without going anywhere. Maybe it's a meditation device, one bubble suggested. They all hovered above the treadmill, trying to feel enlightened. A squishy alien with 6 legs was in the bathroom, fascinated by Sarah's toothbrush. He had heard it was for cleaning, so he was trying to use it to scrub the floor. Human cleaning tools are so small, he complained. This will take forever. In the library, a shimmering alien made of light was trying to read a book like Sarah did. But the alien had no eyes and could only sense electrical signals. It kept bumping into the bookshelf, thinking that might help it read. Professor Zixnax floated through the academy, watching all these attempts with a mix of amusement and concern. He was impressed by how interested the students were in human activities, but he worried they might hurt themselves. Remember, he announced with his bubbly voice, we're trying to understand humans, not become them. Be careful. But the alien students were too excited to be careful. They kept trying to copy Sarah's Earth activities, each attempt more hilarious than the last. A group of rock-like aliens tried to take a shower, thinking it was a special human ritual. They just stood under the water, not moving, slowly growing moss. Some gas-based aliens attempted to play Sarah's card game, but they had no hands, so the cards just floated through them, scattering everywhere. Even the Academy's robots got involved. They tried to copy Sarah's sleeping position, lying down on the floor with their metal arms crossed over their chests. Other aliens walked by, whispering about the sleeping robots. As the day went on, the Academy looked less like a school and more like a funny human zoo. Aliens everywhere were trying to eat, sleep, walk, and play like Sarah. Most of them failed completely, but they were having fun. For the first time, they felt like they understood a little bit about life on Earth. It was strange and scary, but also exciting. At the end of the day, the alien students gathered to talk about what they had learned. They were tired, confused, and some were covered in food. But they all agreed on one thing. Humans were amazing. Little did they know, the biggest surprise was yet to come. Tomorrow, Sarah would present her project to the class, and what she considered normal would shock them all. The day of the big presentation arrived. The classroom was packed with alien students, all eager to see Sarah's project. Professor Zixnax floated at the front, his tentacles waving excitedly. Sarah walked in, carrying a small box. The aliens watched her every move, wondering what dangerous Earth things might be inside. Thank you all for coming, Sarah said with a smile. Today, I'm going to show you a typical day on Earth. She opened the box and took out some items. The aliens leaned forward, their eyes, or eye-like organs, wide with curiosity. First, Sarah held up an alarm clock. This wakes us up in the morning, she explained. She pressed a button, and a loud beeping filled the room. The aliens jumped in surprise. Some even hid under their desks. It's okay, Sarah laughed. It's just a sound. It helps us start our day. Next, she showed them a toothbrush and toothpaste. We use these to clean our teeth every day, she said, demonstrating how to brush. The alien students watched in amazement. One raised a tentacle. But why do you clean your teeth? Don't they grow back if they get dirty? Sarah shook her head. No, we keep the same teeth our whole lives. We have to take care of them. The aliens muttered among themselves. The idea of keeping the same body parts for life was strange to many of them. Sarah, then took out a pair of shoes. "We wear these to protect our feet when we walk outside," she explained. A gaseous alien floated forward. "You mean you touch the ground when you move? Isn't that dangerous?" "Not at all," Sarah said. "Walking is how most humans get around." She put on the shoes and walked around the room. The aliens watched in awe, as if she was performing a dangerous stunt. Next, Sarah showed them some food. She had brought a sandwich, an apple, and a bottle of water. "This is a typical lunch for many humans," she said. The aliens looked shocked. "All that for one meal?" "Philop," the blob alien asked. "And you eat 3 times a day?" Sarah nodded. "Our bodies need constant energy. It's normal for us." She took a bite of the sandwich. The aliens gasped, half expecting her to explode. But Sarah just chewed and swallowed, smiling. "Would anyone like to try?" she offered. After a moment of hesitation, Zara the tree alien stepped forward. With her branch-like arm, she picked up a small piece of the sandwich and put it in her mouth-like opening. The room went silent as everyone watched. Zara chewed slowly, her leaves twitching. "It's interesting," she said finally. "Very different from sunlight." The other aliens clapped, amazed at Zara's bravery. Sarah then showed them a book. "We read these for information and entertainment," she explained. "We also watch movies, play sports, and do many other activities for fun." The concept of fun was new to many aliens. They were used to doing things only for survival or learning. Finally, Sarah took out a pillow and a small blanket. "And at the end of the day, we sleep," she said. "We become unconscious for several hours to rest and recharge." The aliens looked terrified. "You become defenseless every day." One asked, "What if predators attack?" Sarah laughed. "We sleep in safe places. It's not dangerous." She lay down on the floor and pretended to sleep. The aliens watched in fascination as she lay still, breathing quietly. After a minute, Sarah sat up. "Any questions?" she asked. Hundreds of hands, tentacles, and other appendages shot up. The aliens had so many questions about Earth life. Professor Zixnax moved to the front of the room, his tentacles wiggling with excitement. "This is incredible, Sarah," he said. "You've shown us that what we thought was impossible is just daily life for humans." The alien students nodded in agreement. They had a new respect for humans and their strange, wonderful ways. As the class ended, the aliens crowded around Sarah, eager to learn more. They realized that humans weren't just tough. They were amazing in ways no one had imagined. After Sarah's presentation, the Galactic Academy was never the same. The alien students looked at her with new eyes. They no longer saw a scary Deathworlder, but a fascinating creature full of surprises. Professor Zixnax called a special meeting of all teachers. His tentacles waved excitedly as he spoke. "We must change our curriculum," he bubbled. "Humans are more complex than we thought." The alien teachers nodded in agreement. One teacher, who looked like a giant crystal, spoke up. "But how can we teach about humans? We don't understand them ourselves." Professor Zixnax smiled, or at least his beak-like mouth turned upward. "We'll ask Sarah to help us. Who better to teach about humans than a human?" Meanwhile, in the academy halls, alien students crowded around Sarah. They had so many questions. "Is it true humans drink water for fun?" asked a fire-based alien, its flames flickering with curiosity. Sarah nodded. "Yes, we call it staying hydrated. It's important for our health." The fire alien shook its fiery head in disbelief. "Amazing. Water would destroy me, but it keeps you alive." Another alien, who looked like a walking plant, approached Sarah. "I heard humans can regrow some body parts. Is that true?" Sarah thought for a moment. "Well, our hair and nails grow continuously, and our skin heals when it's cut, but we can't regrow limbs or organs." The plant alien's leaves rustled with excitement. "That's still incredible. You're like a strange animal-plant hybrid." As the days passed, More and more aliens wanted to learn about Earth. They started watching human videos, reading human books, and even trying human food, carefully, under supervision. Xylop, the blob alien, became obsessed with human sports. He tried to play soccer, rolling himself around like a ball. It didn't work well, but he had fun trying. Zara, the tree alien, fell in love with human music. She swayed her branches to the beat, her leaves rustling in time with the songs. Even the teachers got involved. The crystal teacher tried to understand human art. He created a sculpture that looked like a mix between a human and a crystal. It was strange, but everyone agreed it was beautiful. One day, Sarah walked into her classroom and found it completely changed. The alien students had decorated it to look like a human school. There were desks, a blackboard, and even some Earth posters on the walls. "We wanted to surprise you," Xylop said, his blob body quivering with excitement. "Do you like it?" Sarah felt tears in her eyes. She was touched by their effort. "It's wonderful," she said. "Thank you all so much." The alien students beamed with pride. They had learned that making others happy was a very human thing to do. Professor Zixnax floated into the room, his tentacles curled in pleasure. "Sarah," he said, "we have a request for you. Would you teach a class about Earth and humans?" Sarah's eyes widened in surprise. "Me, a teacher?" The professor nodded. "Who better to teach about humans than you? Our students have so much to learn." Sarah thought about it. She had come to the academy to learn, but now she had the chance to teach too. It was a big responsibility, but also an exciting opportunity. "I'd be honored," she said finally. The alien students cheered. They couldn't wait to learn more about Earth from Sarah. As Sarah began planning her first lesson, she realized something important. She wasn't just teaching aliens about Earth. She was building a bridge between two very different worlds. The Galactic Academy was changing, becoming a place where all species could learn from each other. And it all started with a simple homework assignment. As night fell on the academy, Sarah looked out her window at the stars. She thought about Earth, so far away, and smiled. She was making a difference, one alien at a time. Little did Sarah know, her biggest challenge was yet to come. Teaching aliens about Earth would be harder and funnier than she ever imagined. The day of Sarah's first class arrived. The room was packed with aliens of all shapes and sizes. Even some teachers came to learn. Sarah stood at the front, feeling nervous but excited. "Welcome to Earth Studies 101, she said with a smile. "Today, we'll learn about human families." She showed a picture of a human family. The aliens leaned forward, their eyes, or eye-like organs, wide with curiosity. "Humans usually live in small groups called families," Sarah explained. "Most families have 2 parents and 1 or more children." A bubble-like alien raised a tendril. "Do all humans come from the same egg sac?" Sarah tried not to laugh. "No, we don't have egg sacs. Human babies grow inside their mothers." The aliens gasped, one crystal being shattered into tiny pieces from shock, then quickly reformed. Inside, a gaseous alien wheezed. "Isn't that dangerous for the mother?" Sarah shook her head. "It's natural for us. Human bodies are designed for it." As Sarah continued her lesson, the aliens asked more questions. They were fascinated by human childhood, school, and growing up. "You mean humans change size?" asked a rock-like alien. "They don't stay the same forever." "That's right," Sarah said. "We start small and grow bigger over many years." The rock alien looked amazed. Like growing crystals," it said excitedly. Sarah nodded, happy they were making connections. "Yes, a bit like that." Next, Sarah taught about human jobs. She showed pictures of doctors, teachers, and farmers. Xylop the blob alien wiggled with excitement. "Humans can do many different things. They're not born knowing their purpose." "No," Sarah explained. "We choose our jobs as we grow up. We can even change jobs if we want." The aliens murmured in wonder. The idea of choosing your life's work was new to many of them. As the lesson went on, funny misunderstandings happened. When Sarah mentioned falling in love, several flying aliens crash-landed, thinking it was a flight technique. When she talked about feeling blue, meaning sad, a blue alien started to cry, thinking all humans hated its color. Sarah had to pause the lesson to explain idioms and figures of speech. The aliens were confused but eager to learn these strange human ways of talking. At the end of the class, Sarah felt tired but happy. The aliens had learned so much, and so had she. Teaching about Earth made her see her own world in a new way. Professor Zixnax floated up to her. His tentacles curled in a way Sarah now knew meant he was pleased. "Excellent work, Sarah," he burbled. "You've opened our eyes to the wonders of humanity." Sarah blushed. "Thank you, Professor. I'm learning a lot too. There's so much I never thought about before." As Sarah packed up her things, Zara the tree alien approached her. "Sarah," she said, her leaves rustling softly, "I have a question." "Go ahead," Sarah said kindly. "You talked about human love and families," Zara said. "Do you miss your family?" Sarah felt a lump in her throat. She did miss her family, more than she had realized. "Yes," she said softly, "I do." Zara's branches drooped in sympathy. Then, to Sarah's surprise, the tree alien gave her a gentle hug with her branchy arms. "We may not be human," Zara said, "but we can be your space family." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. She hugged Zara back, careful not to bend her branches. "Thank you," she whispered. As they hugged, other aliens joined in. Psylop oozed around them in a gooey embrace. The gaseous aliens swirled around the group. Even the rock aliens rolled close, trying to show affection in their own way. Sarah looked around at her strange, wonderful new family. She had come to the Galactic Academy to learn about aliens. Instead, she had taught them about humanity and learned the most important lesson of all. Love and friendship can cross any boundary, even the stars. As the group hug ended, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. There was so much more to learn, to teach, and to discover. The adventure was only starting, and she couldn't wait to see what would happen next.